Heroes of Greyhawk is a game played by adults and recorded for an adult audience. Sometimes we use adult language and explore adult topics. Consider yourself warned.
In our last session, the party continued their quest to free the Queen of Shadow from her prison, the Shadow Heart. They pled with Sir Thornton Valixian, a valiant knight of the Shadow Moon, still loyal to the Queen, although he questioned the party's resolve to battle the Countess's corrupting influence. Nori vowed to resist temptation, revealing that she needed the knight's blood, as a component of a ritual that would destroy the Shadow Heart and free the Queen. Moved by Nori's impassioned plea, Thornton agreed to provide the blood of the valiant for the ritual. However, as fate would have it, they were interrupted by General Zelenko Vasilov Todorov, a knight loyal to the Countess, accompanied by his phantom warriors and a monstrous creature with grasping claws and a distended jaw and insatiable hunger for flesh. Something Sir Thornton referred to as a sorrow sworn. Pledged to destroy Nori and claim her sword, which we now know has a name, Shadowfang. The general attacked. Sir Thornton and Spuggy, jumped in to defend against the Countess's minions, and the cobblestones in the courtyard of the House of Black Lanterns was festooned with blood. Even Xanthi's goon squad of voracious spirit guardians did their bit to fight off the general's force, albeit with a few well-placed attacks against Nori, who it turns out they are contractually bound to murder, but we'll get into that later. The general fell, as did his phantom warriors, but the hungry Sorrowsworn fought on, dropping Nori in its final moments before Desmond lunged in to make the killing blow with his booming blade. The monster's head popped clear off, and the courtyard fell silent. Thornton staggered forward, wounded severely from the battle. He acknowledged the bravery of Nori and her companions, pulling forth a small knife, opening his palm, and willfully offering his blood to their cause to free his queen, the Queen of Shadow, and return balance to the Shadowlands. And in that moment of heroism, Thornton faded back into the shadows. Now, back inside the House of Black Lanterns, Xanthi had a few minutes to chat with her spirit guardians. Lagoons revealed their contractual obligation. They confirmed their contractual obligation to kill Nori. The Guardians, shall we say, union representative, a spirit guardian by the name of Archibald, showed Xanthi the contract even, and ended the moment. And this was a really nice moment, Xanthi, where you bought a round of brews for your goon squad. Then they disappeared along with the contract. Meanwhile, Nori sat down with an awkward Shadowborn fellow named Eldon, learning about the procession of undead pilgrims headed to a place called Sorrow Rock, and suggested Garton, if you recall, the shadow gnome with the bloody bandana on his neck, as a potential guide. Xanthi, Alrin, and Desmond conversed nearby, specifically related to topics related to Nori's allegiances and whether she'd fall to the Countess's manipulation, or if she could be turned against her companions. None of them could really say for sure. Later that night, Alrin sent a message to Uncle Yazal, who told Alrin to get to Chendal as soon as he could, and that Mordenkainen needed help on the front. He also indicated that he had maybe done a bit of research on this golden-eyed companion of Alrin's, Xanthi, and explaining to Alrin in a very short 25-word message that she was possibly something called a changeling and maybe not from this world. With that, my friends, we're going to go ahead and rejoin the party. As the night is winding down in the House of Black Lanterns, the four of you at various locations within the tavern portion of this location, this, I would call it like a safe haven in this strange Shadowland. You've had a chance to, Nori, talk with Eldon, who who is now off talking with someone else, perhaps. But we'll first turn to Xanthi and Desmond as the night is growing long. Lots on Xanthi's mind, I'm sure, but let's go ahead and start there as we do a couple of final conversations before we take a long rest.
Well, that was really weird. Did you see the part where, like, it kind of looked like maybe somebody added something to it?
You don't remember any of that?
No.
It's weird.
It's really weird. But like, well, okay, it's gone now. The spirit guardians took it with them, but there are a couple really weird things, like, like I found Nori's name because it was written in a different ink.
That's strange. Oh.
Right? Like, that can't be. I mean, if it were all written at the same time, it would have, like, we used the same pen or quill or. What do you think?
I don't know how that could happen if you can only get the contract from the spirit guardians, right?
I don't know. I don't know how this works. And the other weird thing is at the very last page, that's not my signature. It's like a smudge.
Could you read any of the other names?
You mean who signed it with me?
Mm-hmm.
I guess Archibald, the spirit guardian. So, he signed it. But then there's just like, I don't know, it's not even like handwriting or anything. It's just like a smear or a smudge or something.
That was supposed to be your signature?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It's very strange.
And all of it was like in reference to this group called the Consortium. I've never heard of that.
Dave, would Des have ever heard of a group called the Consortium?
Consortium? I don't know.
I can't talk right now.
It's possible that you've heard of an organization that may call itself a consortium. It's possible. It's unlikely, and certainly you don't know anything about strange binding contracts between elements of a spell and the spellcaster. That seems weird. Like, you don't have, for example, a contract with Lucky, to your knowledge.
No. So, is that something that's common with divine magic?
I don't know. Maybe you should call Lucky and see if he gives you a contract. He can pull it out with his little beak.
I mean, I could call him. I don't think he's eaten in a while. Nori might get mad. He never looks skinny. I don't know. Well, we'll figure it out. I don't know how, but maybe there's someone we can ask about it.
Maybe should I go ask Alren?
I mean, maybe he knows something.
Where did he go anyway? Okay, I'll go find him. Hold on.
Okay.
Xanthi's gonna look around, see if she can find Alren.
With enough looking about, you would find Alren back in a dark corner. He almost appears to be sort of like hiding behind a large flagon, maybe deep in thought, perhaps. This would be taking place sort of after the conversation that Alren had with his uncle Yazal. But you do see him.
Oh, hey Alren. Uh, what are you doing back here?
I was just thinking to myself after I had spoken to my uncle about some stuff.
Oh, okay. What do you say?
Well, he said after we survive this ordeal, we're definitely could be useful to him in the upcoming battles. Obviously, stuff we can talk about after we survive this. As he crosses his
Of
fingers,
course.
we'll be good though. I think.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's
Maybe.
just we'll get out of here. I'm sure. Anyway, so I looked over that contract before my spirit guardians got all used up, and I found a couple of weird things. One, have you ever heard of an organization known as the Consortium?
Would this be a roll for me? Or no chance?
It's going to be a very slim chance, but because of the background of your parents, for example, they were connected to a lot of different things. So it's possible that there may have been some mention. Let's go ahead and why don't you roll a history check for me?
I'm going to roll a history check, and you'll never believe this, but I'm going to use one of those 15 advantages that Josh gave me.
Thank you, Josh. Appreciate it, buddy.
He wants to see me die gloriously. And I appreciate that about him. So, here we go. Let's see. History. So that's a 17.
17. Okay. It's possible that you've heard of these things. There are many different types of organizations throughout the Flyness. Your parents had worked for a number of them. So it's possible that Yazal might be knowledgeable, but it doesn't come to you like, oh yes, I know this organization.
And I've had plenty of contracts in my time doing my bounty hunting stuff, so I haven't heard of that in any of my contracts, but most of mine have been a lot more mundane, snatch and grab people, dead or alive, depending, or things like that. I mean, I've helped out in some other ways, but, usually, whatever contract I have had, none of that's been in there. But I can maybe find out a little bit later.
Okay. I mean, so the guys said, my spirit guardian buddies, they said that, Lulu had something to do with it, but I don't see her name on anything in the contract.
Well,
Except for whoever signed, because I don't remember it being me, didn't really sign with a signature.
At this, Ulrin looks just slightly nervous as he says, perhaps they used a different name. Sometimes people do that, depending on their past.
Well, is my name a smudge?
Maybe not yours, maybe Lulu's.
Her name is a smear. It sounds to me like, that's not a signature. Like somebody's tricked somebody maybe to sign this. And the other thing I noticed, so I did find Nori's name.
Oh no. Oh no.
But here's the weird thing. It was written in a different ink. Like a red ink. So like the whole contract looked like one thing, and then it looked like somebody had written in Nori's name, and I don't know who would be able to do that with a magic contract.
An adjusted magical contract sounds dangerous.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to look into this.
Okay.
Probably when we get out of here, maybe sooner, but possibly when we leave. Hopefully Nori survives that, you guys.
Well, I mean, I'm trying not to kill her. I mean, I don't want to, but it's been really difficult convincing them. They won't listen to me. So I guess we should only focus on stuff that matters right now, right?
Yeah. Yeah, we have a lot on our plate here, I believe.
Yeah. Speaking of a lot, um, so like, I noticed, you being a bard and all, you seem to have a lot of charisma, and like you're good at talking to people, and you're good at the dancing and such. Um, I mean, have you ever like dated anyone before?
I've had some short-term relationships. Yes, I have.
Okay. I was just wondering, how do you know that you're dating someone?
How do you know that you are dating someone? Well, I think the base answer for that is when you feel emotions inside and a connection, when you're with them and they feel the same, that's kind of a start. I mean, I'll be honest, in my situation, when I was working at a carnival a long time ago, and it wasn't a good situation to be in. So it almost was a bonding situation that helped us be closer.
So
I
you're saying
mean,
it's a bad thing?
no, it's not a bad thing, but it definitely allows you to see emotions better. And if you have a connection with somebody, I think it shines through more. Um, I mean, the person I was with, I like them a lot. And I think we would have had a relationship for a time regardless. But the fact that we both were in a scary situation, it almost helped us bond even more because I felt that she was a good person and, I was doing the right thing. It just turned out that the circus I was with was a horrible place.
So are you saying that, like I shouldn't judge my feelings because we are currently in a horrible place?
No, I mean, you guys have been close before this. I mean, I've only been hanging out with you guys for a couple of weeks, but you seem to have a good rapport back and forth. And I see that, you know, you're a good person. He's a good person. I mean, I've been around a lot of bad people. Growing up in Harby, the Merchants Guild, the people that my family dealt with were just bad people. They were corrupt, they were selfish, they only wanted stuff for themselves. In the circus I was in, I mean, the guy that ran it was the worst of the worst. And Ulrin will sort of roll his sleeve up a little bit and show what you haven't really noticed too much is burn marks and old scars and just everything on his skin. And he said, you know, I've seen some bad stuff. I've been in some bad places, but I'm stronger for it. You guys have gone through a lot together. I've heard the stories of all the adventures you've done before I was here, and you guys look out for each other. I mean, you're good. I mean, you're not evil. I didn't know what to think of you at first. You're definitely different and foreign, but you're good. You're special.
Oh, well, that's very sweet, Oren. I actually didn't know that I was a changeling until like a couple weeks ago. But so I spent a lot of time just thinking I was a regular human girl. Um,
Why do I think that even not knowing that you were a changeling, you still were special? You have power behind
Aw.
you, and you've helped the party. You've brought me back from being on the ground several times. I mean, I must say that being in a group like this, like a family, changes how I battle. I'm more aggressive knowing that you guys have my back. So yeah, this is a good party. I just hope that Nori doesn't have issues with us in what's happening.
You think she's gonna kill us too, right?
I don't think she's going to kill us.
Okay.
But I think she might have some tough choices, and we may have to help her. We may have to influence her. But that's maybe for tomorrow. Today, think about Des. Be happy.
Okay.
I think you guys are cute together. I like that.
Okay, so if you're dating somebody, if they tell you their emotions.
Well, I don't know if everybody's gonna tell you their emotions. You have to be charismatic and bold and willing to dance in front of complete strangers for small amounts of gold, kind of bold and crazy. Not everybody is like that, but stay close to him, continue being a good friend, and, maybe when you get an opportunity, not in a time of danger, not in a time where we're threatening and maybe going to die, tell him you like him. That's very simple.
Okay, I don't know about the dancing and
That was just an example of
okay. All right.
and stay away from that pie. I've heard bad things about that pie. Nori's I haven't had any. And I'm scared of that.
I haven't had any either. Wait, no, I did. I had some. She pushed a couple bites into my mouth, and it was really good. But just to tell you, I think she has 2 more pies in her bag.
Oh no! Oh no!
I don't know, but I mean, maybe she's already eaten them or not. But if she does, then that hag lady is probably gonna show up and want to eat her.
Maybe. I don't want to be delicious and eaten by the hag. I was able to get her surface thoughts, and she is really crazy and really dangerous.
Oh, good.
Yes, I was able to use my amulet on her, and I did not like what I saw.
So you think maybe we need to get the pie away from Nori?
That might get us killed faster than anything else that happens here. But she only has 2 more, you said, right?
Right, but you can buy them here.
Oh no. Maybe we'll talk about that later.
Okay. All right. We should go rejoin the group.
Okay.
All right, so the two of you rejoin the rest of the group. Is there anything else as the night winds down here that you guys would like to do or discuss? Otherwise, we will transition into the night and move into the next day.
I think you would see Nori kind of maybe try to sneak up to her room if you see it. I don't know. She's gonna make herself disappear pretty quickly after talking to Erden. Erden.
Okay. Go ahead and roll give us a stealth check quick.
Okay.
Just to see how nonchalant this goes.
All right. Okay. That is 9.
Okay. As you are Xanthi and Alrin having your conversation and Nori's name comes up multiple times, just casually you glance about looking for Nori, and At one moment she's there, and then you look back around as the pie discussion is coming to a close, and you look and you just see her sort of going up the stairs, sneaking off, as it were, which is not out of the question. It's late in the night. Desmond, at this point, are you still in the tavern? Have you retired? What are you doing?
Des is still up, but he's just kind of, just hanging out in the tavern before he goes to sleep.
Okay.
Nothing much.
All right. So the three of you reconvene, finish up your beverages, that sort of thing, and eventually make your way upstairs to your rooms as well. Let's move over to Nori. Nori, you're sneaking away. I get the sense that perhaps something is calling to you, some sort of a deep hunger, so to speak.
Very accurate. Yes. I go up to my room, and I have one pie and another pie with one serving left in it. So what I am going to do first is, I know these guys are looking at me weird. They've told me not to eat the pie. I've told them I'm not eating the pie. I am eating the pie. So I'm going to hide the second pie right now, just in case whatever happens in the night, like a junkie, I'm going to hide my drugs. So I'm going to find a spot to put this pie in the room. Probably under the bed.
Okay. As you're looking about, give me an investigation check.
Okay. This for a better choice than under the bed. Ugh. 9 again.
Okay, good rolls. Yeah, you're looking about. There's a foot locker that you could put it in. Too obvious. Under the bed, you're like, nobody's gonna look under the bed.
Totally not. Okay, yeah, I'm putting it under the bed.
Tuck it back in the corner where there's some cobwebs and things. Little cobweb side on top of a nice pie is not a problem.
It just adds texture.
Exactly.
So then what I'll do is I'll get out my fork. I'm going to summon Shadowfang, and I'm going to put it next to me, but I'm still kind of holding onto it with one hand, ready to fall asleep with it in my hand.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to roll back my glove and kind of just gonna like rub the golden shears that's been embroidered on there, and just think about my I guess kind of chosen family right now, and how they are worried about me, but I can't not do this. So I let the glove kind of roll back down, dig in, and eat one whole serving.
Okay. One whole serving.
Yeah, one whole serving, a quarter of a pie.
Okay. And what does it look like as you're eating this pie? What does it look like when Nori's eating the pie?
Well, I can tell you the first piece of pie that she ate was very kind of delicate and cutting with I just have a fork, so I didn't do I did the barbarian cut with a fork, but I still ate it delicately, like a civilized person. This one, there is pie on my face when I'm done. There's some like catching of it, scooping it with the hand, making it all go in, licking the pan even, dropping the pan, laying down with the fork in one hand, Shadowfang in the other, and I'm out.
No shame whatsoever. Just an empty pan, completely licked clean.
Yeah, there's not a drop of pie, a crumb, nothing.
Just to be clear, it was one. It was sorry.
It's all over my face though.
It's all over your face. And it was it one piece?
It was one piece. It was like a quarter of a pie. It was a big piece.
It's a big piece for a little gnome.
Yeah, it's a quarter of a pie.
Okay. All right, cool. You're already tired. It's been a long day. You had a massive battle. You had traveled from the Vistani camp where you'd had a battle against a massive winged raven-like insectoid creature. I mean, it's been a day. you deserve a little pie at the end of a day like that. You know what I mean? Like, you earned it.
Yeah.
You earned that pie.
I earn it every night, honestly, but I really earned it tonight.
Yes, you did. So you finish up the pie, probably licking your fingers clean, I would guess. I don't know. And you lay back, very satiated. It's so good. It still tastes as fresh as it was the day that you first cut into it. Savory.
That was only 2 days ago, I think.
Delicious.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah. You grow very tired after throwing the empty pie tin to the floor and laying back like the queen of your domain. You start to drift into a very restful state, almost meditative, and you can hear the faint buzz of music and voices down the stairs on the floor below where the tavern is located. And that begins to drift away as you fall into a very restful sleep. You find yourself maybe probably snoring a little bit even. Laying there, falling into a deep sleep. It doesn't take long, Nori. And your eyes open. You're no longer in this room of the House of Black Lanterns. You find yourself in a sun-dappled glade. You can smell pine. You can hear the distant murmur of a brook. You stand to your feet and you find yourself at the edge of a grassy clearing. You can hear the voices of two children scanning the hillside. You see Tom Hollow Brook running through the hills near your home. You turn more and you see, not far from where you stand, two boys squaring off against each other with wooden swords. You know them. Of course you know them. It's your brother, Nalvin, and your childhood friend, Bilbert Skregner. Their wooden swords are flashing in the sunlight as they collide with each other. This isn't just play. This is almost has an essence of training to it or competitiveness. Your brother thoroughly besting young Bilbert, gaining the advantage. With a deft twist of his sword, Nalvin disarms Bilbert. The wooden sword goes spinning into the air and lands into the ground. Bilbert on the ground himself, having fallen in the maneuver. Nalvin looking very proud of himself. Bilbert red-faced, smiling, scrambles to his feet and reaches down to retrieve the sword. Well done, Nalvin, but you won't have it so easy next time. He brushes the dirt off of his trousers and his jerkin. And then he turns to you. What about you, Nori? Think you can take on your older brother? Nalvin chuckles. He just kind of laughs a little bit. He looks back at you. He's like, Nori? She can barely lift a stick, let alone challenge me. And he kind of looks over at you and gives you a wink. What do you do?
I run for him. For a grapple. Bilbert, that is, for that comment. In a playful way, for sure. I dive at him.
So it was your brother that made the comment about you not being able to lift a stick. Okay.
And I dive at my brother in the Nori grapple style.
Okay, great. Go ahead and give me a D20 roll and add your dexterity.
Ooh, yeah. All right. That is 21.
Okay, yeah, you grab onto him and you give him a big old bear hug and you've got him grappled and he just laughs. He's like, pick up the sword.
I'll pick up the sword when I'm ready, and then I whip him around a little bit on the ground, and I pick up some dirt or some grass and I smash it in his face first.
Okay, fine.
All right. Push him off. And I pick up the wooden sword. You ready for some real fighting?
Yeah, that's what I wanted. Little sister, he says as he brushes himself off and takes a step back. He raises this wooden sword in a mock salute.
I do the same salute that anyone had ever seen me do with Shadowfang, where I put it to my forehead, pre-armor of Agathis, and then I'm ready to go.
All right, little sister, show me what you've got. Go ahead, Nori, and roll. Give me an initiative roll, just a straight D20.
6.
Okay. He wins the initiative, and he comes at you, and he is going to swing at you with the sword. You do not have armor on, so your armor class is just going to be 10 plus your dexterity.
12.
Okay, so he hits you with the sword for 1 bludgeoning damage as he smacks you right on the head. Like he just gives you a bonk on the head and just giggles.
That's it.
Your turn.
That's it. Yeah, brace yourself, brother.
Just a straight D20 roll.
That's a... Oh, it's a 3.
Okay, you swing and he steps out of the way and he says, you're going to have to try harder than that. Remember what I showed you. And then he's going to spin around and he's going to take another attack on you. But he only swings a 10. You put your sword up and you block it as he comes down. He's like, good, good.
Okay. I'll roll first. Okay, so that's a 7.
He parries your attack a second time. Nice try. And then he
better though.
Comes back as he swings at you. And hits you again and knocks you across the side of the arm that you're holding the sword with. You take 1 more point of bludgeoning damage and he starts to laugh. And you kind of look at him as he's laughing. His face is different as he laughs. It's almost as if something else is laughing through him. And as you look at him in this moment, the glade begins to darken. The clouds perhaps obscuring the sun. You're not sure, but you see your brother's face begin to contort, twisting into this grotesque, sinister grin. His eyes fill with this inky shadow, while this smile stretches impossibly wide, revealing these sharp, unnatural teeth. Please roll a wisdom saving throw, Nori. You can use your wisdom bonus that you have on your character sheet.
18.
18. Yes, you feel this momentary flush of fear as you realize that something is wrong here. And in your mind's eye, you have this sense that this is one of those strange moments of Nalvin showing some sort of other side of himself, but this is different. This is different than the playful competition that the two of you have often felt with each other. This is something more maniacal. The laughter continues and echoes from his lips, resonating with this sort of eerie cadence that sends shivers down your spine, but you stand firm in your resolve. It's your turn. What would you like to do?
I let the sword, I'm still holding it, but it drops down.
Okay.
Alvin, what's going on with your face?
He steps forward and he swings at you. And hits you hard, and you stagger backward. You take 2 points of bludgeoning damage as you stagger backward, tripping over a rock and landing on your back. And you kind of, you know how when you land on your tailbone, it kind of gives you that weird sort of sensation. You land on your tailbone, maybe knocking a little bit of the wind out of your lungs, and you look up at your brother as he steps forward over the top of you. And that's when the sun begins to come back to normal, the clouds maybe having passed by. Nalvin looks at you, his face twisting back into the normal, young, boyish look of Nalvin that you know. The sword that he grips in his hand so tightly drops to his side, and he reaches out his other hand to you, to bring you back to your feet.
I'll reach out and grab his hand and pull myself up.
He pulls you up
I'm gonna
and
touch
he
his
looks at
face.
you. You touch his face and he says, I never meant to hurt you, Nori. That was never my destiny. It was yours. You look at him and his eyes are filled with tears, and a big, huge drop of tear rolls down the side of his cheek, and that's when you feel it. You feel this searing pain in your chest as you feel a blade, an iron blade, plunge into your chest. You look down and you can see the blade buried to the hilt in your chest, blood beginning to form on your white shirt, dripping down, staining it red, wet blood. You look back up and you don't see Nalvin. You see yourself. Inky black eyes, wreathed in shadow. You gasp for breath as you feel the life force leaving you. And that is when you wake up on the bed in the tavern, gasping for breath.
I am in my room by myself, correct?
I believe so.
Is it light out? It's still dark.
It's always dark here. You listen for a
can't tell
moment
at
and
all.
you can hear, it's hard to tell. You hear voices from below. There's no music. You feel rested. You feel confused, maybe. You instinctively, your hand goes to your chest where the blade was plunged. I'm assuming you have some sort of like your clothes still on. You fell asleep on the bed, maybe with your clothes on, or with your night gown, or your night, your bed clothes, whatever it might be.
I mean, I'm gonna open it up now and look at where the sword was.
Yeah, you look down and you see nothing out of the ordinary. There's no blood. There's no open wound. All you see is the same old healed sword wound that's been on your chest for 10 years since the Battle of Emerald Meadows.
Okay.
You hear footsteps in the hallway as someone walks by your room.
I'm gonna get up, walk to the door, and look out.
You open the door to look out into the hallway?
Yeah.
Okay.
See what might be.
So it is morning at this point, and I would like to know from the rest of our team here, as the morning begins and you start to wake up from your slumber, where are you? What are you doing? And who just walked by Nori's room? Any of you? Nori, you look out in the hallway and you see Desmond walking past, headed downstairs, probably for breakfast.
Okay. I'm gonna probably just come down in my sleeping clothes. I don't really want to go back in there right now. So I'll follow Des down to, I don't know, wherever we're sitting at the
Desmond,
tavern.
you turn around and you see Nori walking out of the room, catching up with you.
Hey.
Is it morning already? Are you going down for breakfast?
Yeah, I woke up kind of early and felt hungry. So I decided to get up. You all
Desmond,
right?
with your passive insight, you definitely know that something is up with Nori.
You don't look like you usually do in the morning, I guess I could say.
I had some nightmares.
Well, this place is pretty messed up.
These nightmares were messed up.
Worse
Keep
than
dreaming.
normal.
Yeah, definitely worse than normal.
Hmm.
I keep seeing myself
You saw
Doing-
yourself?
terrible things, but this time I saw my brother and he looked like a monster for a minute. Then he I got stabbed in my dream. I'm having a really hard time here. I don't know. I don't know if it's this place. I'm really thinking it's me, not this place. I know you can't really help me. I mean, I don't know how to help myself. It's not just dreams either.
Felt real?
When we were at Emerald Meadows, I feel like I saw myself take my sword from my dead brother. That actually happened. I mean, I did take my sword. I did take Shadowfang from him after he died in the battle, but I was like a shadow. I was wearing all black and shadowy.
You mean like all black when your eyes go dark?
Yeah, well, my eyes were
That
black
kind of-
too. Yeah, all of it. All of it.
But
I don't know
even
what that
darker.
means. I don't know what that means. I think I had a dream the other night. I think I killed my brother in my
think-
dream.
You would probably remember that, right? If you did it?
Would think I did, but I didn't even remember his death for a while.
Yeah.
My memory is really messed up.
Well,
What if I did?
sometimes dreams can mess with you a little bit. I mean, maybe you felt responsible for his death in some way. Or you do. And that's just kind of how it came out in the dream.
It's actually really insightful because I do feel responsible.
Why?
I went to Emerald Meadows. I told my parents just gonna keep him safe. Like, that's a dumb thing to say because obviously I can't keep anything safe.
It was a war. It was a battle.
My brother died. A lot of people died, but my brother died.
Mhm.
I feel like it's really hard to see it happen over and over and in different ways. Why am I so shadowy? Why do I look so weird?
Well, I mean, do you remember how it is you came by your abilities? How you
Yeah.
met your matron?
It was over his body. It was over my brother's body. I mean, she said, let's unite and track down these that killed your brother. And I said yes, because I didn't think about it. If I could get somebody to help me wreak vengeance on the murder of my beloved brother, I would of course say yes.
Well, we do know she's essentially like a death god.
Makes sense, that's where
But-
she'd show up.
You know, it sounds like she's, as far as death gods go, she's probably about one of the better ones.
Better
I
than
mean,
that other
death
one.
isn't always, it's not murder.
It's an essential part of the cycle. I get it. Doesn't make murdering your brother in your dreams any better, though.
No, that can't be fun. I'm sorry, Nori. But is that pie on your face?
What? No.
Have you
No.
been eating that pie?
No. No, I haven't. No. This was the roast from last night. Can you tell? It's and I'm like furiously trying to
Looks
get it
like
off.
pie.
It's
You've
not
been eating
pie.
the pie, haven't you?
Xanthi's gonna come like sleepily walking down the hallway.
Hey guys.
Hey,
Why are you
Xanthi,
so
Xanthi,
sweaty,
Nori's been eating the pie.
it's
Oh
not.
God. Do you have any left? Do you finish it?
It's okay. Okay. I had some more pie, but it's gone now. I ate the rest of it, and it is completely gone.
We
No-
were
no
told how
more.
dangerous that pie is.
But it's also so good, and
Maybe that's why you're dreaming about killing your brother.
Oh my God.
Oh, sorry, I didn't. Nori had terrible dreams last night. We were just
I've had
talking
these-
about him.
vision type things before. It's not just the pie.
Why would
I mean,
you
yes.
want to eat pie that gives you nightmares of murdering people?
Do you know what it also gives me? It gives me these wonderful memories of times with my brother.
The Vistani told us that.
Never get these moments back.
Yeah, but they're not real.
They're real enough.
They told us that once you start eating the pie, it's hard to stop.
Oh.
It's probably because it shows you things you want to see for a little while, and then maybe it turns bad.
Nori, you're gonna become a pie addict.
It is what I want to see. I want to see Nelvin again.
Yeah. But, your brother died. I know that's hard to accept. My brother is dead. We can't go back and change that. I mean, there are magics out there that can apparently do it, but they're hard to
like
come by.
This is the place to do it. If you're gonna do it.
Well, maybe that's something your matron can help you with. If we free her.
Yeah.
I mean,
we were saying that, like she's your sugar mama is like, the powerful death goddess. So, she could probably bring him back or something, right?
I don't know what she can do, but that is what I'd like to try. I mean, we have to get all these things. It seems nearly impossible, but if I murdered him, I would do anything to bring him back.
Yeah, he's probably pretty mad at you.
I'd pop out of the room. How's everybody doing this morning?
Hey,
Her. Okay?
A lot of noise out here. What's going on?
Xanthi ate the
Nori's-
pie. Or sorry, Nori ate the pie.
Nori's been at the pie.
No.
Turns out she had some more.
There's a bit of pie consumed last night and
Is that?
the night before.
Do you have any more, Nori?
It's gone. It's gone. I don't have any more pie.
Insight check.
Nori, you can
Deception.
roll a deception check, please.
Okay. Oh, you're never gonna know. That is a 26.
16.
It's gone.
That hag that we got those pies from was dangerous and evil. And there is nothing good that's going to turn out from those pies.
A
Even
good
if
thing.
they seem good at the time, it's going to go very poorly.
They seemed great at the time. And to me, it was almost worth it. It was worth it.
It's
She
like
feeds off the victims
Yeah.
eating the pies. I feel it. That's the emotions I got from her when I was skimming her mind.
and hags don't do anything for the sake of doing it, you know? There's always something in it for them.
Oh, I know, Des. I remember.
We all found that out the hard way.
Mhm.
The last time we made a deal with the hag, she stole your memory, so, I mean, maybe it would mess with your memories again.
It's possible,
I mean-
but if you had these dreams, if you felt these feelings during your dream, you would be eating this pie too.
That's how it works.
It's working.
She's luring.
It's working perfectly.
This was the Mona Blackwood hag.
Do not want an intervention.
Yeah, Mona
The other-
Blackwood is the one we a lot of us traded memories to uncurse Des. I gave away a magic item that I probably shouldn't have, but it was worth it. It was totally worth it.
Ran into another hag in the forest while we were going up the river. That didn't turn out well. Feel like you try to snatch us in. It's not good.
You guys, you don't have to make a case for me. To me, I know that the hags are terrible, but the overriding thing is these dreams are the best things that have happened to me in a long time.
But you could have good dreams
least
about
part
your
of 'em.
brother without the pie. I mean,
I don't know. I
you're
don't know.
not guaranteed them, but
It was a feeling that can't be beat. It was the best dream I ever had. My admittedly
until it went
first
bad,
piece
and
of
then it
pie.
was the worst dream you ever had, right?
I mean, it doesn't get much worse.
You love your
No.
brother, but you know, you saw yourself kill your brother after you ate this pie.
What?
To be fair, I didn't actually see myself do the murder, but I saw his body and I saw myself wiping the blood off of a blade standing over him. Seemed like connecting the dots. I probably did that too, but it's the best dream ever. Before that,
Right. Sort this out. No more pie for you, though. What happens if you die before we can... You eating this pie and you die in the middle of the night, and then we're all stuck down here, you know, in this weird shadow realm.
Yeah, how are we supposed to find our way out if you're not around?
Trying to figure out how to free your matron, right?
We need you.
yeah. Okay.
How long do we have till the general comes back that we have to fight?
Another 12 hours?
We need you for that.
Well, okay. I'd like to pivot this conversation to our next mission. We can revisit it later if we deem it necessary, but I won't eat any more pie. I have some information and I think I know what we should do next. Okay, it sounds like you guys are all listening. The Tears of the Forsaken.
Right.
I got a lead on it.
You
That
did.
man with the really nice fingernails, really well grown, nice hair. He told me some stuff. You know that guy that's bleeding a lot?
Oh, yeah,
His name
that
was
guy.
like Garten. He could be like a guide, I guess.
That's
There's a
great.
bunch. We should go ask him. There's a rock. These pilgrims, they keep going to that dead man's cross. Remember that guy? And that he's supposed to point them the way to go, and then they disappear, and then they have to do the same thing over and over again. The group keeps getting bigger. I mean, it's all part of what's clogged up here, I think. They're not able to go on to the next life. And they're crying. I think those are our tears. We just need to see if the Gerton can take us to the it was called what was it called? Sorrow Rock. I guess that's where it starts.
That sounds like a good place to get tears.
He did say also that they often go by here. Depending on what we feel like doing, I do think we should go to the rock, though, where it starts.
Okay, well, we could see if that bleeding guy is around. If he is, it wouldn't be too hard to find him. We'll just follow the trail of blood.
That's a good
Go
next
down.
step.
Go down, get some breakfast, head out.
I'm just gonna go change quick because I've got the sleeping clothes on.
So you go and change, Nori, while the rest of your companions head downstairs. Instinctively, you check to make sure that the pie is still underneath the bed. It is.
Mm-hmm.
The four of you reconvene down in the tavern over some breakfast. The tavern itself is fairly full. You look around, you see, of course, Spug Noir sitting at one of the tables, scribbling in his journal as he does. You've seen him doing this many times. He doesn't seem to notice you this time as he is journaling or writing furiously. The place seems in full swing, almost as if it's not even morning, but there's food served. Jarl, the lantern keeper, serves you some porridge, some meats, some eggs. There's some bread. There's a bit of a nice spread. Some warm goat's milk, should you be interested. You look around, specifically interested in the whereabouts of the shadow gnome with the bleeding bandana, Garton. And you don't see him. Most of the other regulars that you've seen are there. There are others that you don't recognize, maybe new arrivals to this realm or travelers across the Shadowlands. It's unclear. People come and go, but there certainly have been over the course of the last 2 nights, 3 nights now, sort of regulars. Garton having been one of them. Thornton, Sir Thornton, Blixie and the Knight having been one as well, not there either. That's not a big surprise after everything that happened to you the day before. But Garton, you don't see Garton at the moment. All right, well, here's the eggs. This is Jarl speaking. Eggs, goat milk, anyone? It's fresh.
Yeah, I'll
No.
have a little. Thank you.
All right.
I'll take some.
Yes, please.
No,
All
thank
right.
you.
Okay. Do you have bacon?
I'll
It'll
have
cost you
bacon,
extra.
please.
It'll be 1 gold.
Worth
Bacon,
it.
eggs, bread.
Worth it. Worth it.
Definitely worth it.
Everything here is really expensive.
Well, if you run out of coin, we certainly have other ways of payment, if you recall my drift, that I'm drifting your way.
Right, our immortal souls.
Bingo!
Maybe we should pace ourselves on the gold spending.
But
You
what
know,
do we
now
have
that I-
left? I mean, we have.
I'll get the bacon today.
Hey, we're not broke. I'm just saying there's not a lot of way to earn money here.
We're not going to be here that much longer.
By the way,
Right.
are you going to be staying here tonight? You want to reserve those rooms?
Yes. Yeah, definitely.
Otherwise, I'll
right.
send my gal up. She'll clean out the rooms and
Nope.
we'll turn them over.
Let's
I
just
mean,
keep the same rooms.
We don't really know if we'll be back here tonight, do we?
Well, you could roll the dice, as they say, and maybe there'll be a room available. We might not get the same room, but if you want to reserve the same rooms, then I guess it'll be 5 gold. Don't forget, it
It's
includes the dinner stew.
We should book one more night here.
Probably should. I mean, we definitely have more searching to do.
That'll be 20 gold then for the full rooms.
I don't know that we need 4. Well, I mean, like 2,
Yeah.
3, 2 rooms.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe we should reduce the number of rooms then.
2 seems good.
4 is kind of extravagant, I suppose.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, she'll dole out the 10 gold.
So what's on the agenda today, adventurers? You look tired.
Well, it's not that it wasn't a comfortable bed to sleep in. You know, sometimes things just keep you awake or make it difficult to sleep. Or your sleep isn't very restful.
Well, if you're having trouble sleeping, we've got a very nice chamomile tea that will soothe you into a sleepy mood. We also have a couple more of these freshly baked pies.
We're allergic. Sorry.
Suit yourself.
Freshly
Change your
baked?
mind.
No,
Well,
no.
they just came in this morning.
Let me see. Let me see them.
No more pie for you.
Can I smell it?
I'm gonna leave you to your
Not a good
breakfast. If you need anything else, let me know.
Yeah, don't. Terrible hives. Hives.
Have you seen the gentleman with the bandage on his neck recently?
You mean Gotten?
Yes.
You know, come to think of it, haven't seen him since, I haven't seen him for a bit. Let me think here. You know, sometimes he doesn't come in, sometimes he does. Actually, to be honest, it's kind of a relief. That guy bleeds all over the fucking place. It's a goddamn mess. But, yeah, I don't know if you really need to find the guy. Well, he's got a camp outside the old ruins of Brackenvale. Not too far. Used to be a nice place, way back. Now it's just rubble.
How do we get to this ruins of Brackenvale?
Should be able to just walk down the road.
Okay. How far?
As far as it takes, I guess. Distance is weird around here. So's directions. So's time.
Yep. You're not wrong.
Places just kind of show up. Like this place. The house just kind of shows up when needed.
Well, we appreciate that it's here.
Yeah.
Thank you
lovely.
very much.
10 out of 10 stars.
Hey, that's important because we do ask for reviews because, you know, I mean, you gotta hustle these days. Appreciate that. I've got some comment cards. Let me go grab the comment cards.
I'll fill one out.
Yeah, he walks away and he comes back with a quill and an inkwell and a little piece of parchment cut into a little index card size, and he hands one to each of you. And maybe don't mention anything about the pies and the hives. Whatever.
No pie mentioning. Don't worry about that.
Hi. Mentioning.
No, don't write that on the comment card, miss. Whatever.
All right, we should probably finish up soon and go find this guy, right? Or do we just go try to find the pilgrimage?
Probably should find the guy.
We'll see if we can find the guy. If we can't, then we can go to the rock and just wait, I guess.
And I suppose maybe we should ask the barkeep about where we can meet the Black Lantern person. You know, since we're here right now. Jarl?
Yes, miss, yes.
If we did want to meet the creator of the lanterns, is there a place we would go, or how would we get in contact?
Here's what I'll do for you. You want me to make a connection for you? Happy to do it.
Sure. Yeah.
That would be great.
I think it behooves me, however,
I slide over 5 gold.
I will take that, thankfully. Graciously, thank you. It behooves me to tell you that this fella, Sul Nadir, is a shrewd deal maker, so if they find it in their schedule to meet with you, then just make sure you're coming with the deal. You don't want to show up empty-handed, you know what I'm saying? It kind of puts my reputation at risk, kind of thing. And I certainly don't want to get on the wrong side of this one, you know what I mean?
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right, that would be great.
Hold on one second. He goes back and grabs another note card and he puts it in front of you, Xanth, he says, very specific. I want you to write down on this note card your name and then
Okay.
wants to meet.
Santi wants to meet.
Wants to meet,
Meet.
not the food meat, the other one.
Oh, okay.
That's it. Then you just hand me the card. I'll take it and I'll see what I can do.
XOXO Xanthi.
Well, that's good. That's good. Thank you. He takes it, he folds it up nicely and puts it in his pocket on his shirt. I'll see what I can do. For the breakfast, that's gonna be 8 gold.
Yeah, okay. Yep. Here you go. Woof.
Can I get you something to go? I mean, you might be on the road for a bit.
I mean, I still have some rations.
Rations. Oh, hey. Suit yourself.
They're priced a little bit better. No offense.
None taken.
Quality food at quality price.
Yeah, that's what we pride ourselves on. And inflation's a bitch, you know what I mean?
How much are those pies again?
Nope. She smacks you.
Sandy.
Hey, your friends are right to caution you. I don't normally say this when I'm trying to sell stuff, but let's just say these things can get a little bit, habit forming. Let's put it that way.
You don't say.
See, they're addictive.
Well, I didn't say that. Habit, yes. Addiction, well, maybe.
He didn't say no.
That's true, I didn't. As he walks away.
Well, all right.
Okay, so maybe we should go and try to locate the ruins of Brackenmore. And
I think we should. That's where we should start. That's my 2 cents.
Okay.
I need to go up to the room quick before we go. I think I left
Okay.
my socks. I'll just be right back.
Yeah, you shouldn't leave anything here. We don't know if they disappear when you leave.
Well, we might not get the same room, so if you guys left some of your stuff in your room, you know.
I never leave any of my stuff in my room. I just carry it all around like a turtle.
Des is wearing his backpack.
Yeah.
Nice. All right,
Well-
so
Nori runs up and, puts the pie in her backpack.
sure.
Comes back down.
All right, so you guys have all of the gear, all of the stuff, all of the things, your drugs. And I think this is a good time as you step from the House of Black Lanterns in search of Brackenvale. to find a guide, perhaps, a strangely bloody gnome named Garten. This is a great place where we will take a quick break, and we will come back in just a couple of minutes. Thank you to everyone who's been hanging out with us this evening. We really, really appreciate it. It's been fun seeing all the goofiness about the pies in the chat. You guys are the best. Love you. Thank you very much, Vamp Wickman, for cheering us on. Scottish Jeff, Josh, Zarathon, and On. Thank you so much for coming in and throwing down to help out our narrative and our story. We really appreciate you guys being here and hanging out with us. Stronghold D&D. Hey, good to see you. I'm going to drop a couple of shout outs in the chat while we take our break, but we're going to go refill our drinks and we'll be back in just a couple of short minutes. See you guys. All right, so we are going to dive back into this crazy game of ours. We have had quite a first half of the game, I guess, tonight, first half of the session. Our heroes had some very awesome conversations. Fantastic role play, by the way, you guys. I would like to give, I'm going to regret this later, but I'm going to give you each an inspiration point for the fantastic role play.
Wow.
I don't know if I've ever done that before.
For us?
Yeah, for you and you and you and you.
I've never
Our
gotten one
heroes wound down the night at the House of Black Lanterns after a very strenuous day of survival in the Shadowlands. Having that morning, it's hard to even believe this, left the camp of the Vistani and headed back to the House of Black Lanterns. Along the way, they had a battle with a crazy raven-like insectoid creature that almost flew off with Nori. They made it back to the House of Black Lanterns and had a massive battle with the general and his minions, including some new monster, a Sorrowsworn creature that he had brought with him. They were victorious, of course. Our heroes were victorious, and they went inside the House of Black Lanterns to kick back, relax, and they had some great conversations, did a little bit of investigation, worked the crowd a little bit, ate some pie, had some crazy dreams, and there was a little bit of an intervention that got started. I think that's a to be continued kind of scenario because there is more pie to be eaten, and I can just say Nori Bibblespark's got a hunger.
Yeah,
Real
you
hunger.
guys don't know. You don't know.
You don't know,
You don't
but
know.
you know, but Nori knows. Nori knows. You inquired with the tavern keeper, the lantern keeper Jarl, about the source of the void flame and the various lanterns that hang around the House of Black Lanterns that provide it with some interesting magical properties. The void flame, of course, being one of the 5 components that are needed to enact a ritual that you're hoping to successfully enact that would free the Queen of Shadow from her prison, the Shadow Heart. The Queen of Shadow, also known as Nori's Hexblade matron. So lots of things happening. You inquired about a potential guide, a shadow gnome with a bloody bandana tied around his neck by the name of Garten. And you were given a piece of information from Jarl that this Garten fellow could potentially be found in the old ruins of a place that was once called, or is referred to, I guess, as Brackenvale. once peaceful hamlet, now just a pile of rubble. And so you have at this point left the House of Black Lanterns. And you are headed down the road. I would like us to make a team survival check. So please, everybody make our survival roll. This will be sort of a navigation, wayfinding sort of opportunity for you to see how well you do at tracking down this place. Now, the weird thing about the Shadowlands for folks that are hanging out with us is that sometimes places just show up. Sometimes places just happen to be where they need to be or where they want to be, not always where they might be tied to in a physical sense. So let's go around the table here. We'll start with Xanthi.
Okay.
Survival roll.
All right. Ooh, that's pretty good. I got an 18.
Okay, and don't forget that the chat has bequeathed us with some fantastic advantages. So thank you to the chat. All right, so an 18 from Xanthi. How about Desmond?
Des rolled a 3.
Okay, and how about Nori?
Nori got a 15.
Okay, and Alren.
19.
Very nice, you guys. Certainly make up for Desmond's his 3. Desmond, this place, everything kind of looks the same this morning. It looks the same every morning, every night, every afternoon, every day. It is overcast. It is thick with mists that swirl, sometimes taking the approximation of humanoid form, sometimes wrapping themselves almost physically around your legs, but oftentimes just floating on the air in this place. The road itself is covered in this fine dust, almost as if you would expect there to be all kinds of tracks along the way, but there's no tracks on the roads. There's nothing growing along the roads. It seems like the landscape is, as this realm also harbors the souls and the physical form of those who have died in various tragedies, perhaps. The landscape itself seems to almost have a deathly characteristic to it. Nevertheless, you continue on and you feel like you are following the directions, the scant directions, really, that Jarl, the Lantern Keeper, gave you. He was a little bit coy with his directions, but nevertheless, you do find yourself walking down this road. And as you're walking along, you can get a sense that it's just a flat landscape as you're heading maybe in a different direction than you did when you went to the Dead Man's Cross. But from the mists ahead of you, you see something tall, something lumbering, something vaguely humanoid but gigantic. Doesn't seem as though it has taken any sort of notice of you, or at least it doesn't appear as though it has. It hasn't changed directions, but it does seem like it is closer than it has been before. You have heard these things referred to as night walkers. They're massive, taller than the 3-story House of Black Lanterns by far. You just barely see it as the mists sort of swirl and part momentarily. It kind of like scans the horizon with these big long arms sort of like swinging, and you can see as its head turns to scan in your direction, these bright glowing red eyes. What are you doing at this moment? You all see this.
Stop moving immediately.
Yeah, Des is going to just freeze in his tracks and try to... Well, he's looking around with his eyes to see if there's something to hide behind.
There's some dried out scrub brush, some tufts of grass, a couple of rocks that are, not huge, but you could potentially try to hide if you wanted to. I would have you roll a stealth check if you do want to hide.
That's a good idea.
Yep,
Yeah.
hiding.
Yeah. All hiding.
Okay, everybody give me a
With
stealth check,
advantage.
please.
I'm
Yeah, you
rolling
have
with
advantages.
stealth check advantage.
Mm-hmm.
Stupid.
Des always has advantage. advantage.
Rolling with advantage.
Just kidding. Just on
There's
stealth.
always has
He's got some fancy boots. Natural 20 though.
Ayo, very nice. All right. Xanthi, what'd you get? Are you hiding? Are you trying to hide as well? What did you get?
8.
Oh boy. Okay.
She's
Only
like,
as good
she
as your
crawls
lowest
behind
roll.
some scrub brush. You can just clearly see her behind it.
Alrin?
Natural 20 for a total of 31.
17.
31. Wow. Okay. 17 total. And how about you, Nori?
13.
13. Okay. You hunker down, Xanthi hiding behind this little scrawny bush. Desmond, you seem very well hidden in the shadow behind this rock, and you look over at Xanthi, and they do not look like they have even taken much effort, it would appear, to hide.
Just
The creature gazes in your direction, turns its trajectory of travel towards you. It begins walking slowly, but each lift of its leg, the stride of this creature is massive, and it takes only 3 steps, and it has reached the location of where you are. And it stops. Xanthi, you're looking up at this creature. It's made of shadow. There doesn't even appear to be any sort of corporeal form to it. Its arms just hang low, almost as long-armed as the nails, these long, black, shadowy nails that sort of drag on the ground, leaving these furrows in the duff behind it as it sort of saunters towards you and stops just above you, and it just is looking around.
Does it look like it's going to look down?
It hasn't
its
looked
feet?
down at all. As you stare up at it from your hiding spot, it just looks as though it is sort of searching the landscape.
Dez is going to cast Minor Illusion
Okay.
on the 5-foot square that Xanthi is currently taking up.
Okay.
And it's just going to look like a grassy mound.
Okay.
I think Nori started to do the same thing and saw that you were doing it, so she stopped, and now she's quiet again and still.
Desmond, give me another stealth check as you are casting a spell that does require some movement.
Uh, 29.
Total?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it does have somatic components to it. Okay, so you very subtly cast the spell, concealing your companion, and 30 seconds pass. Roughly about 5 rounds in the D&D parlance. What's up, Cardman? It seems like 10 minutes. Your heart's just pounding in your chest. You've heard of these things, almost incarnations of the void themselves, they've been described as. 30 seconds pass, and it just starts to lumber away with these massive steps. As the foot leaves the ground near you, Xanthi, parts of of sand and dirt kind of fall down and rain down on you, falling through the illusion, landing kind of on top of you. The thing had almost stepped right on top of you. The creature just lumbers away, disappears into the mists, and it goes silent again.
That was close.
Let's get out of here.
Oh god.
You gather yourselves together as best you can, calming perhaps your beating hearts, and continue down the road. You travel for an amount of time. It's so difficult to tell. You mostly can tell time in this place by maybe how hungry you get or how fatigued you get from the travel itself. It is maybe feels like a couple hours as you're traveling. You're not sure if you've gone in the wrong direction or not. Maybe you're even starting to look for a place to take a rest, to sit down and eat the meager rations when you could have bought some sweet pies. Nevertheless, you take a couple of steps forward, coming over the crest of a very modest hill, and you see ahead of you a pillar. You can't really make out any details other than that there is some sort of a structure along the side of the road. The mists conceal detail at this distance. You're probably 40 feet away from it, I would say. You stop in your tracks as you see this. It's for a moment you think maybe it's another one of these night walkers, but it's not. It looks to be some sort of a structural element on the landscape, but not a tree, not natural. It looks to be some sort of a perhaps man-made structure.
Think we might be here. Dez is gonna pull out his crossbow just in case.
Okay.
Hear anything?
Give me a perception check, please.
That's a natural one. No.
It
Do you
is
see any
dead silent, Alrin. There's no wind. There's no signs of life, no nothing.
what
I will
about
say
blood
this.
drops?
I'll get to that in a second. Good question. I will say this, Alrin, even with a 1, you can feel, and the others as well, that as you approach this, whatever this structure is, the air begins to feel colder with each step. Nori, what was your question?
I was asking about blood drops. So if there's any on the street or as we get closer to
Yeah,
indicate.
give me an investigation
Curtain.
check.
Garden. Ooh, natural 20.
Very
So,
nice.
21.
21 total? Okay. You look around, and as I mentioned, there don't appear to be any tracks. There doesn't appear to be any sign of anything. You look around and you just see that the land here is even more barren, if it could be, if that's even possible. The small plants and tufts of grass that Xanthi was hiding behind, they have sort of faded off. They have died off. There are maybe remnants of dried plant matter, perhaps, but there really isn't much here other than this, whatever this is ahead, maybe 30 feet ahead of you now as you're slowly making your way towards it. Desmond has pulled out his crossbow and has it readied.
Should we sneak or should we just walk up? I mean, do you think we're gonna, if we surprise him? If it's him,
I mean,
if we surprise him, do you think?
I think it's all right to just move up, but just keep your eyes peeled.
Yeah.
I want to see
keep an
another
eye
one of
out,
those big guys.
or any of the crows. Remember, we're
The crows too.
hiding
Yeah.
from them.
Let's just keep an eye out for everything. Everything. And proceed. Go forward.
Okay. You're going to walk forward, not stealthing, just casually moving forward.
Yeah, Nori's not stealthing.
Okay. All right, Nori, I'll assume that you're leading the way at this point with your companions following behind you. As you continue forward, you feel the coldness continue to build. Silence. You said crows, which was smart to consider because they've been watching you. You get the sense that they've been watching you. You've heard that they are the eyes and the ears of the Countess, but you hear no caws. You see no flocks of birds, nothing, no life. But as the mists begin to part and you get closer to the structure, you find yourself looking at a 9-foot tall pillar of stone. It almost looks like it had burst out of the ground. It stands straight. It's got a pyramidal pinnacle at the peak of it. There are 2 large iron rings that are anchored to the pillar itself. You can see that there's some sort of stonework on its surface. You're still probably 10 feet away from it at this point. You can make all this out. There is a small stone altar that looks to be built into the shrine, and it is right on the side of the road.
Does
And
it
this-
look anything like the pillar that we saw by the druids?
With the rubbing of.
Yeah, the rubbing.
Give me an investigation check, Xanthi. And let me ask you this before you make the roll. Are you going to go up to the thing and actually like get up there and look at it? Or are you like sort of at a distance right now? Or what are you thinking in terms of your investigation?
I think I'm moving towards it cautiously,
Mhm.
like, at a regular pace, not at a like, oh my god, it's gonna attack me pace, but I wouldn't just, run up to it or anything like that.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah. Give me an investigation check.
Can I do it with advantage?
Yeah. If you have an advantage, you can use an
Okay.
advantage.
All right.
Thanks to the chat for helping us out with some advantages.
Okay. That is 18.
Okay. Couple things. So, as you get closer, you get up about 4 or 5 feet from it. It is a tall stone pillar. As I described, it kind of has this pyramidal tip to it, iron chains that hang from these big iron rings, almost as if perhaps someone or something had been tethered to it. The surface of the pillar, all 4 sides of the pillar seem to have these jagged runes that are etched deeply into its surface. You can see with that roll that there is like this iconography of skulls and scythes that are haphazardly, it seems, etched into the surface. There is a pile of bleached and broken, almost dust-like bones at the base of the altar. There are twisted black vines that sort of conceal part of the altar, sort of wrapping its way around it, but they are dead. And with that roll, it's just a single pillar. So at the Sylphides crater, when you came across the standing stones of Ignis, there were 4 pillars. But this does kind of give you some vibes like it's similar. There is a very prominent symbol on the face of it of a skull and scythe. Give me a religion check, Xanthi.
Okay. Natural 20. For 22.
Wow, you guys. Damn, that's a lot of natural 20s.
Hey, the dice
Congratulations.
are not kind to me, so I gotta take it where I got it.
Yeah, very nice. You think there's a connection. There could be a connection. Is there a way that you could maybe confirm that? You're not sure, but it sure seems like the symbol of this skull and scythe is also the symbol of a god of death, Nerull. And you have heard this god's name on more than one occasion, not the least of which was one of the pillars at the standing stones of Ignis.
All right, Xanthi's gonna whip out her travel journal, and she's going to briefly sketch an image of what's on the pillar.
Okay. While Xanthi is doing this, what are the rest of you doing?
Can Des make out what the writing is on the pillar? You said there was like some runic type.
Yeah, they're like these
markings.
jagged, angular runes. Do you, let's see. What languages do you speak? I have your,
Common and dwarvish.
yeah. No, it's neither common nor dwarvish. Xanthi, do you mention anything from what you're recalling to the group? Or do you just kind of sit down in quiet and start journaling, start drawing?
She'll sit down and start drawing, but she'll say, "Does this remind anybody of those, 4 pillars next to that crazy fire druid place, where he summoned a god and we had to save the world?"
It does look like it. I remember I didn't know Sylvan, but I do know Elvish, and I was able to kind of figure some of it out.
Is this Elvish?
I don't know. Let me look closer. And I'll come in and kind of peek over
Give me an investigation
Xanthi's
check.
shoulder. Her golden shoulder.
Well, she's human colored right now.
Okay, her human colored shoulder. That's a 6.
It does kind of look vaguely like some sort of maybe profane interpretation of an Elvish script, but it is not readily decipherable as Elven.
I will come over and, with them pointing it out, I will cast Comprehend Languages.
And you beat me to it.
Okay.
Okay, but don't read it out loud.
No spoilers.
That makes sense.
What does it look like when you cast this, Alrin?
Well, are they?
Let's see. This has. So, I kind of take the soot and the salt out of my pouch, and I sort of mix it together, and I actually have to like rub it on my tongue and on my eyelids so that I can be both speak it and see, and a little bit on my ears and hear the languages. So I look much more goth than usual after doing this. Kind of like an old wizard in his tower that's read too many texts with the candles and just ink all over his face. Thankfully, prestidigitation will clean this later.
As you cast this spell, this sort of indecipherable, scattered runes begin to shift in your eye as you cast your spell, and you can see that it is some sort of a description of reverence to someone called the Reaper. That to serve the Reaper with murder and bloodshed is to hasten entry to the Tartarian depths of Carceri.
Do I understand what that means?
Give me a religion check.
Hey, this looks like another opportunity to use an advantage. Thanks to Josh and the rest of the chat,
Thank you, Josh.
but mostly the chaos that is Josh.
Yeah.
That is a 14.
Okay, well, I think with a 14, you are not really sure what the Tartarian depths of Carceri are, but combined with the information that Xanthi has shared with you as she sits down to sketch, this seems as though it is a shrine to Nerull, and it has perhaps a bit of the guidance on how the pious should worship their god of death. You can only guess that the Tartarian depths of Carceri are maybe like the realm of this god, or the place of to which the followers and the clergymen and the cultists of this god might be promised in the afterlife. The altar, as you get closer and look, and all of you see this, it's a small stone altar, mostly obscured by these black vines that appear dead, but there are dark dried stains upon it.
Is this dried blood? Can we look closer?
It appears to be
Sniff.
dried blood.
Yeah, don't lick it or anything, though.
If I
He
didn't
said that
think,
just as I was getting close with my mouth.
if I didn't think it would kill me or us, I would climb up this thing. But I don't know if I want to touch this.
I will say one other thing that I forgot to mention, Alrin, as you cast your spell and sort of deciphered what was going on. There are a series of glyphs that don't have a direct language sort of what am I looking for? A language sort of interpretation, but they appear to be symbols that are in a specific sequence.
Is there?
I will
Could
point
Sorry,
that
go
out.
Be like a way to get there?
Is there anything about the cult, the Shriven Sickle? I think they called themselves.
There's no mention of that to Alrin. Alrin would know that it doesn't specifically call that group out. But you have heard of them, and they have been told to you as a force in this realm.
They follow Nerull. That's why I ask.
Xanthe, you look up as Alrin's pointing out these symbols, and you've seen those before somewhere.
Does that look familiar?
Give me a history check.
History. Seven.
Unclear, but they look very familiar to you. In fact, I will say that regardless of knowing what they are or where they are, you feel like you've drawn them before.
Oh,
And she starts flipping through her book, and then she pulls out the rubbing to try to look at that. Like, do any of her drawings match?
When you pull out the rubbings from the Standing Stones of Ignis that you took,
Mm-hmm.
they are on, if you recall, there were 4 pillars. One for Orcus, one for Encabulos, one for Zugatmoy, and one for Nerull. And I'm not sure how detailed you would have been able to make those rubbings in the time that you were given at that moment, but you do have specifically those 4 symbols, those 4 strange markings are in your rubbing from the stone of Nerull.
see?
Sure shit. Xanthe shows you the rubbing, and it's the same. Little different, but you can see it. It's the same symbols.
Would it be
Well-
some kind of portal or
Let's-
transportation?
That's what I'm
Whatever it
thinking.
is, it's probably bad.
Yeah, I
We
don't think it's a
do-
good transportation.
I mean, you guys, we do have to get, one of the things for the ritual. We're gonna have to
Now,
probably go there.
You said it said something about murder and bloodshed. What if we just shed a little blood? Like, would that work?
Like a murder of the skin that covers the area that has blood in it.
Well, I don't need murder.
Like,
I
maybe
just
it
mean
just
like,
needs a drop of blood
maybe-
or two.
yeah, like we just cut a little bit and drop a little blood, and I don't know how much it needs.
But is this where the Forsaken would go?
No, that's
This
part of the
isn't-
ritual. Like we would have to do with everything together.
You guys have
Like-
been on the road enough. Certainly, Alrin, you've been on the road enough, and others probably too, where you've seen in your travels that there will be roadside shrines to different gods. You know, whether that's to Cuthbert or Farligan or others. That's what this appears to be. It appears to be a shrine to Nerull, which is odd because in all of your travels, Alrin, you've never seen a shrine to Nerull.
I mean, never been to the Shadow Realm, right?
Fair. So what happens if we put something in the offering spot? Blood? Money? I don't know.
Seeds.
I don't know if that's a god
Beads?
you want to
Seeds.
particularly
Oh, seeds.
try to appease, right? I mean, I don't know.
What was the translation exactly? You said, serve the Reaper with murder and bloodshed to hasten the way
The
to.
haste entry to the Tartarian depths of
Carceri.
Carceri.
Varsari.
To me, this is the last thing we do before we do the ritual.
Might be the
Oh,
last thing
okay,
you
so
do,
like-
period.
So like
That could be accurate.
this is the boss room, is what you're saying.
Well, we have
I
to get the holy.
I think we should
to
move
get the
on
holy
and try
symbol.
to find Garten.
Yeah, this isn't today,
F
but
this mess.
have this mess right now.
It's covered with skulls and fucking scythes and shit. I don't want to mess with that.
Yeah.
I mean, the last thing I want to do is give it my blood.
I mean later.
It's a
Yeah, not
later
now.
problem.
What?
Well, I think we're getting a little bit distracted by this thing. Let's get
Well,
moving.
yeah, look at it.
Gotta find this guy. It's pretty messed up, though. I bet it's got something to do with that cult we need to find.
Right. Okay, well,
Xanthi's gonna like do a makeshift little map as best she can because all these places are like floating independent in the Shadowlands. But she'll kind of draw out the area next to her sketch of the symbols.
I mean,
Okay.
there could be more than one of these. But, I mean, we have to get the holy symbol at some point. I mean, maybe this is the way we have to go to get it. Maybe Alrin's right. This is maybe the way, the portal. It's a later problem. For sure it is. Not today, but soon.
okay, so
Let's
we
keep-
should keep going before something scary attacks us here.
Anytime we stay anywhere too long.
Yeah,
Mhm.
would we have
Things
any
happen.
guesstimate of what time it could be?
Stomach
Give me an
says-
intelligence check.
The countdown is ticking.
Yep.
That's a hard 7.
It's later than it was earlier.
That's I've never heard a truth so true.
No way to know.
Seems later than when I thought about what the question too.
So just to clarify, you're not going to cut yourself and drip your blood onto the altar. Where you
Tomorrow,
go?
man.
Yeah, not at this moment.
Not at this time.
Got you. Okay, so you gather your things and you continue on along the road. As you do, you head down the road a little ways, and Xanthi, you instinctively turn to take one last look at this shrine to Nerull. You're only maybe 20 feet away from it as you're walking away. You turn and look back, and it's not there.
Nobody's surprised by that.
That is super unsettling, but I'm not surprised.
Continue on your way. It takes some period of time. Again, very difficult to tell. And you start to see the runes begin to appear alongside the road. There's no sign to hearken your arrival at any place. This looks like, at first glance, just a crumbling rock wall in a barren landscape. And you continue farther, you see the crumbled foundations of maybe what might have once been some sort of modest hovel or a main street or shops or residences scattered across an uneven ground. Boulders that look to have once been sculpted by masons. You get the sense that perhaps you've arrived in the remains of the Brackenvale village. Continuing on, you get the sense that you're being watched. And you can see that as you get deeper into what may have been this village, you start to see that the runes begin to take on more complete structural form. You see the foundations, runed foundations, but it looks like now there was a building there probably. There was maybe a barn there. There was, a small shop or something. There's a sort of an organized madness to the way that these runes are sort of revealing themselves from the swirling mists that sort of hang low over everything. You continue to travel through this place. Why don't
while they're
Go ahead.
moving, Des is going to be looking around on the ground for like signs of blood.
Okay.
Maybe from our the person we're looking for.
Give
Who's
me an
always bleeding.
investigation check, please.
All right. I'm going to use one of my advantages.
There we go.
Pretty good. Character sheet, investigation, 25.
Very nice. Desmond, you look about, you stop as the others are continuing to walk, and you look over and you can see clearly that there are numerous tracks. It looks as though multiple individuals or a single individual or some number of travelers have passed along a very specific pathway. And it's not on the road, it's just off to the side of the road. There's like maybe what if you were in a different place, you might think it was a game trail, but you can definitely see the imprint of boot traffic and dust that's been kicked up. And you can see that there is indeed a sort of a wet, dripping pattern that follows this trail.
I think I
Excuse me.
found his trail. Over here.
Oh, good job, Des. Can we tell which direction it goes?
It leads
Des
off from the main road. So you guys are kind of traveling in on the main road. Desmond kind of looked over at this moment where he got this intuition, looks down at the ground and sees this sort of game trail that kind of goes off at a bit of an acute angle into a deeper section of whatever this village used to be.
Yeah, Des will start kind of guiding people along this trail that he found.
So we're descending. Does this feel ambushy here?
You're not descending in terms of like topography, but you are finding yourselves working your way into what appear to be a little bit more densely ruined section.
Yeah.
You're not on like a main road. You're kind of like going in between on maybe like some side streets.
Okay.
You're traveling between these structures. Give me a perception check, everybody.
5.
6.
22.
Okay.
Oh, thank goodness.
16.
We're just talking about boys back here.
All right. So, Desmond, as you guys are walking along, Desmond, you're leading right now, following the tracks that you found. Crossbow in hand, I assume. You look up and look over, and you can see in the rubble, perhaps in your mind's eye, envisioning the peoples that lived here. For a moment, you almost think that you see something move, but you brush it away as maybe just the mists or perhaps wishful thinking. You start to think, and Alrin, you're noticing Desmond looking off in a direction, and you kind of look too as Xanthi and Nori are sort of coming in behind you. Desmond sort of looks over, and Desmond, you're kind of thinking a little bit about maybe who lived here, like what was the miserable life like in this place? What might they have left behind? And you can see that with that perception check, you can see that there are scattered along the interior of one of the ruined buildings, skeletal remains. Looks to be possibly 2 individuals. Bones are bleached white. It looks like it's been here for a long time.
Yeah, he'll just he'll keep moving.
And I will say, Alrin, as you kind of follow Desmond's eyes to these 2 bodies, you see laying on the side as if it's grasped in one of the hands of the skeletons, a mirror, a hand mirror. Desmond continues walking on.
Can I mage hand and snatch that up?
Sure, you can certainly try.
That's
Yeah.
what I like to hear.
Yeah. All right, so you're going to cast Mage Hand. So
Yes.
Nori and Xanthi, you guys come to an abrupt halt as your companion Alrin stops in front of you and casts a spell. And you watch as this shimmering magical hand emanates from Alrin, floating its way over to the ruins of this building. And as it does, it's almost like it's pointing at these 2 bodies, these 2 skeletal remains of individuals laying there. It's the first you've seen of it. The mage hand pulls the mirror from the loose grasp, and as it does, it pulls the mirror, and the skeletal body just disintegrates and falls apart into chipped bones, broken bones, and dust. I mean, these things have been sitting here for a long, long time, undisturbed. And as the hand floats the mirror back to you,
Mm-hmm.
what do you do?
I mean, when it gets to me, I grab it.
Okay. The hand offers you the mirror. It's a small, what appears to be maybe made out of like some brass. It has some sort of like floral like frame to it, and a nice like 3 to 4 inch long handle. The glass inside the mirror is broken and shattered and missing.
What kind of shape were these 2 bodies in before they were shattered? Before the one?
Bleached bone.
Oh, I mean, like, what was their posture?
They were like sitting against a wall next to each other, as if maybe they died together. One of them holding this mirror.
Look in the direction that they were looking, probably, when they died.
Okay.
Anything stick out?
Give me a perception check, Nori.
12.
As you look over, you see the broken, shattered remains of the skeleton that had been holding the mirror. The other one sort of like slumped now and sort of falling over where its companion had maybe been propping it up. And you look beyond that deeper into the darker recesses of this rune. You can see just barely through the mist that there's maybe some sort of a stone chimney that still remains at least partially intact. It's hard to say from the distance you're at. You're probably 25 feet away from it, so it's not super easy to make out all of the detail. The one thing that you do see... Well, let me do this. Give me a Constitution saving throw, Nori.
Okay. Oh no. 10?
You look over and you see a hooded figure. Just for a moment, you link eyes with this creature. It has this drawn, almost husk-like face, this massive maw, this jaw that hangs down as if it's just agape, as if it's about to let out the most mournful moan that you've ever seen. And your brain is racked by psychic energy, and you take 16 points of psychic damage. And you cry out in pain. What are the rest of you doing?
Xanthi
Des
was
is
just
gonna run
about
back.
to like tell Alrin that he should wear gloves, and then Nori screamed.
Des will come back towards them and just have his crossbow out ready for...
Yeah, you race back, Desmond, with your crossbow. You see Alrin holding this broken mirror. You look back into this. You look at Nori. Nori is just holding her head like she had just cried out. Terrible pain. I mean,
What
for
is it?
Nori, that's a
Happened?
significant amount of damage in her
It's
brain.
over half. Yep.
I would be willing to say
Nice.
that she probably even takes a knee, drops to one knee, holding her head.
Yes, Xanthi will run over and heal her. That would be her reaction.
Okay.
Can I say anything?
Yeah,
Or
absolutely.
am I- There's a hooded figure over there. And I actually will point where he is, where they are.
Des will just spin with the crossbow up.
Don't look at him.
Looking around. What? What do you mean?
Desmond, make a Constitution saving throw, please.
Right.
Nori takes 16 points of healing.
Thank you. I feel great again.
Now, what were you saying?
Nice. 21. Or 22, sorry.
You look over, Desmond, and scan, and you don't see anything in the ruins. It's hard to see. You can see the stonework. You can see the skeleton that still remains, the pile of bones, and a little bit of dust having been kicked up, but you don't see anything.
I don't see anything.
Shit, is this just a Nori thing?
Let's move. Let's move away from
Let's
it.
go find Garten if we can.
I want this thing to jump out at us. That hurt.
I don't like how I can't see it.
Does anybody
it's
else
where
have
those-
weapons out at this point? I know Desmond has a crossbow.
After
No.
her screaming, yes, I would draw my sword.
Okay. All right, good to know.
Xanthi's
Okay.
all magic.
All magic. All right, so
All
you
magic.
gather your companion, pulling Nori up from her prone position and dragging them forward, leaving behind whatever that was. Something in the
Whatever that
darkness.
was. Okay, well, there's probably more here than Gerton.
Yeah. Des is gonna just make sure that they're still following the bloody trail. And hope it's the right blood.
Give me another survival check.
So hard to tell here.
Yeah, it really is.
Another 19. 21 this time.
Okay. Yeah, you do a pretty good job of picking back up on the trail. Your companions following behind you. And eventually you hear something up ahead. You hear a voice. You stop for a minute as you have not heard anything at all since passing the shrine of Nerull. It's been dead quiet. Not even the sound of a breeze. But you hear a voice. One single voice. Difficult to make out if it's saying anything or what is happening, but you hear something for the first time and it stands out.
You all heard that, right? Should we head towards it?
Nori's gonna say in Gnomish. Garten, is that you? We come in peace.
The voice goes silent. You hear a response in Gnomish. I'm not home! Go away!
I think it's him, you guys.
What did he say?
He's just being reclusive. It sometimes is a gnomish thing. He said he's not here, go away. Let's go over there.
Is it the kind of thing where you have to ask like 3 times or something before?
Xanthi will say,
We can just
I'm
go.
not here either. Can we come in?
Des will start leading people towards where the voice came from.
In gnomish, I'll say, we have snacks.
We're
A moment
friendly, we'd like
passes.
to talk.
What kind of snacks?
What do you guys have? Do you
I
guys have
have-
any?
I have pocket bacon.
In gnomish, I'll respond back.
I
We
brought
have
some bacon.
meats. Salted meats.
Just turns out I just got home. Approach slowly.
Okay, we actually have an okay to approach now.
Okay.
Pull out your bacon, by the way.
Des will
Not
lower
a
his
euphemism.
weapon.
Not a euphemism.
You lower your weapon.
Yeah, just so he's not spooked by us
Okay.
rolling up on him.
All right. Is anyone else armed? Alrin, I know you said you had a weapon out. Are you going to continue to brandish or what are you going to do?
I will sheath it.
Okay. So you continue on towards the source of the voice. And as you turn around the foundation of one of the structures, the first thing you notice is complete disorder. It's definitely a camp of some kind. You see rusted tools, tattered blankets hanging on rope, perhaps to dry. You see strange trinkets that are piled haphazardly in different locations. You see some discarded weapons piled up in one area, some dented armor. Almost as if things were sort of organized hastily. There's a sagging tarpaulin shelter. Seems to be constructed of animal hides and sticks, barely holding together. It's leaning precariously. You can see that there is scattered parchment, fragments of parchment sort of piled in different locations. There's an overturned crate, broken glass. It's just a mess. And they're standing amongst it all. You see Garten. this shadow gnome with gray skin and a bald head who steps forward and he says, "Hold right there. Just full transparency. I'm doomed, I tell you, I'm doomed. You can approach if you like, but there's no guarantee that I won't rub off on you. Doomed." As if to punctuate his warning.
Why are you doomed?
Look at this fucking scarf. And you look down and you can just see blood dripping down from this scarf that this gnome has around their neck. And I'm going to bring up a picture of Garten for folks on the stream.
That doesn't look good, friend.
I'm doomed, I tell you. I already told you. He looks over at Alrin. I know you.
We met you in the inn.
Yeah, we talked, man. We're friends.
In the tavern.
Friends is a big word.
If
Oh.
I give you this piece of bacon, will we be friends?
Yeah. Set it down right there. Next to that iron bowl. Not in the bowl though, next to it.
All right.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Oh, what brings you out here? I didn't know you were coming, otherwise I would have tidied up a little bit.
It's okay.
He
We've
kind
seen
of
much
starts to
worse.
bustle about and he's like kind of just shifting piles. He's not even really moving things. He's just kind of like pushing them closer together. Let me see. And he pushes off. There's a chair that's overturned. He sets the chair back up. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for your hospitality. It looks just fine in here. Better than just fine. We were told that you might know stuff. People call you a guide? Does that seem like a name you would give yourself? Do you know
Well, I
these
mean,
lands?
I know my way around here. What are you doing in Brackenvale? Desmond, as he asked this question, you see movement off to the left in the shadow.
What was that?
Give me a perception check.
Um, 15.
Okay. You see, as Garten is having a conversation with Nori, the two of them exchanging words, you see something scurry across an open area into shadow. And you look over there again and you see it move again from shadow to shadow. It skitters across the ground. And sure enough, as it comes out into the light of the small fire that Garten has burning, it is a disembodied hand that skitters across the ground. Its claws, its fingers sort of clawing at the dirt, to like kind of pull it along for locomotion. And it's moving fast. And it moves right towards Garten. And before you can even say anything, you say his name and you kind of, and you watch as the hand leaps off of the ground from its fingertips, lands on Garten and disappears inside the layers of his scarf, and then climbs up around the side and goes up onto his head and just stops there on its head. And then it just taps a finger.
As a pet.
Is that
Sorry about that.
A friend of yours?
That's my hand.
That's your hand.
I immediately look at where his hands should be. Is
Yeah.
one gone?
Does he have both his hands?
He has two hands attached to two arms. Oh, I mean,
What's
to be
your
clear,
hand's
it's
name?
it's a different hand.
But
Did you have
it's-
3 arms before?
Well, no. It's just one of those things. It's best not to ask sometimes. His name is Hansy. And let me tell you, you got to keep an eye on him. He does get a little handsy.
Ugh.
Xanthi will take a step behind Des.
Please, sit. I've got one
Lorian does
chair.
a button.
Oh. He blushes as much as a shadow gnome can blush.
So anyway,
There's one chair. Please sit. He kind of takes a few steps over towards the bacon. Couple more steps. Please make
You can
yourself
help
at
yourself.
home. And then he just reaches over, grabs the bacon. It's in his mouth before you even know. Oh, it's good.
Yeah, made this morning.
Now, what can Garden help you with?
well, we're looking for something. But first, I want to ask you: are there other residents here
Well, there certainly
besides
were.
Hansy? There was something I encountered on the way in. Gave me quite a headache. Pretty
It's
bad one, actually.
Best not to poke about the ruins of the Brackenvale. It's a sad place with a lot of lingering pain.
What happened here?
Best I can tell, it was decimated by some sort of blaze, some sort of fire. Probably burned the damn town down intentionally. I don't know. Maybe there was something bad going on here. It definitely has some bad vibes. But it's quiet, and that's the way I like it. I like quiet. Just me and Hansy hanging out.
I can see where that would be beneficial to have a hand as a companion. Absolutely.
It's very useful. Watch this. He goes, Hansy, cup. Hansy scurries down his leg onto the ground and races across. You can see it grabs this little tin cup with one finger, kind of a finger propped up in the air, and then it scurries back across, comes up and hands it to him. He says, see, cup. Thing's smart.
Where did you find Hansy?
You know, it's the strangest thing. Hansy found me. I just found him one morning rooting around in my pocket.
Was that here? Hansy came from here?
Yeah, I was in camp here. Anyways, what can I help you with? These are personal items.
Say no more. We're looking for a rock. We're looking for the Sorrow Rock. We've
You're looking for the
been told
Sorrow
that there's
Stone.
the Sorrow Stone
What are you looking
told
for
there's
that
like-
for?
procession that starts there. Pilgrims.
Yeah, you know, we're in
We're
town.
interested.
So, like,
See the sights kinda
told to-
thing?
Yeah, we were told to totally see the sights. Now, Xanthi's
Sorrow Stone
wearing
was in a
that
magazine.
ring. Xanthi's wearing that ring where you can't tell she's lying.
I don't think you want to see that sight. I mean, there's a really beautiful shrine to Nerull down the road. I mean, that's...
We saw it.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, very nice.
So it's now on to the other side, right? We got
Gotcha.
a checkbox of things to do here. We'd like to see all the sights. Are you our guy?
I mean, I can get you there. Sure, I can get you there. I mean, you might be a little mistaken. It's not a place where these pilgrims originate. It's where they go to.
Yeah, we'll be respectful. We understand it's like a pilgrimage holy site. It's not like, you know, we shouldn't be
I'd
trying
put
to
it
draw
more in the
pictures or anything.
unholy category, if you know what I mean. But I
Why-
could
why
certainly
would
get you there.
Say unholy.
You didn't read the brochure at the House of Black Lanterns on this Sourstone thing?
Jarl didn't give us a brochure.
Well, I don't know exactly what it is, but it sure makes some disturbing sounds. It sounds a lot like crying and howls of pain kind of thing.
The stone does?
Well, you might not have all of the information. It's more than a stone. It's a bit of an archway.
Could you tell us all about it on the way there?
We
That'd
mean
be
like right
great.
now?
After your bacon.
Do you have other plans tonight, or hanging out sounds good?
I mean, we could sit around and sing, camp songs or something.
Well, you know
before
some
the, like-
songs?
Oh yeah, so
Mm.
many.
Would like to hear some camp songs. It's been a long time, but it might raise the attention of, some of the denizens of this place.
Oh, then maybe we should skip it.
How soon
If
could
I'm
you be
gonna
re-
if I'm gonna be your guide, I mean, it's gonna cost you. Kind of looks at you, sort of sizing you guys up at this point, looking at all your stuff. I'd be willing to maybe trade my services, depending on how sweet of a deal you can make.
What are
what
you
a-
interested in?
Well, I figure there's 4 of yous. Maybe a little something from each of you to, for motivation.
Do you like weird stuff? Do you like weapons?
Do
you
I like weird stuff? I mean, look at this fucking place. Yeah, I love weird stuff. I
Okay.
collect it. I've collected most of this stuff from Brackenvale. I almost got myself killed about 6 times.
I got something for you.
A little bit of advice. It's best not to look into the ruins themselves and not to go poking about. That's what got me into trouble.
That's what did this? What do you
That's a
mean trouble?
long story. We don't have time for that one.
What do you mean trouble then?
I almost got myself killed. Scrounging around in the
didn't, though.
ruins. Well, it's because I'm good at what I do. Hey, I'm just trying to be helpful. You do you.
I already
Which is
did, and I
an
already
old
got hurt.
gnomish saying.
Heard it a lot. I have something for you. Do we all?
Lay it on me.
Okay. I pull out this petrified frog.
Whoa. Where'd you get that?
Back where I'm from.
He quickly walks forward, almost in a an unsettling pace, and he's looking at it in your hands.
Mhm.
That's pretty nice.
Yep.
All right, what about the rest of yous?
Xanthe starts frantically digging through her bag.
I mean, sometime you might get a little bored around here, right? And Des will pull out 3 darts from a pouch on his belt. He's like, you can play darts with these. Just set up some wood or something.
Handsy comes down off of his head and comes over to the darts and picks one up and holds it like it's gonna throw a dart.
Yeah.
Ah, you like that? All right. That's a good trade. What about you twos?
Well,
I don't know. She reaches out a handful of stuff. It's got a small clay urn, a small bleached white skull, cracked wooden box the size of cigarettes, and purple velvet torn with a bone ring. Any of these? Float your boat.
What's the story with this one? And he points at the bone ring.
oh, it's very lucky. If you put it on, you will find something amazing that day.
Deal.
All right, here you go.
What about you, Feather Boy? You got something
Well,
special?
I can either offer you a flute, if you play instruments.
Well, I'm not much of a flautist, but you, Hansy? No.
No. Or I have a dice set that you could have. If you wanted to
Ooh.
play with Hansy.
He looks down at Hansy. Hansy's just sort of like jumping up and down on its fingers. Deal. All right. He takes the items from you. Thank you. Thank you. You got it. And then with Xanthian, when he comes, he's like, you got any more of that bacon?
Oh no, I just had the one.
All right, it's fine. It's pretty good. He goes over and he grabs a pack out of a pile of rubble and he slings it over his shoulder, over his other shoulder. He's like, all right, let's go. He walks over, grabs a walking stick. He's like, oh, hold on a second. He puts leans the walking stick against some of the rock wall, the broken rock wall, and he reaches up and he grabs the bandana around his neck and he just wrings it out. He kind of like steps back and wrings out, and there's just blood just pours down onto the ground. He's like, sorry about this. Fucking cursed. I'm fucking doomed.
Where did you get that anyway?
Long story. I'll tell you on the way. Let's go.
Okay.
He grabs his walking stick and starts walking. And he's a pretty good hiker for a little old gnome.
Oh, there he goes. Come on, let's keep up.
All right, so the four of you fall in line behind this little shadow gnome as he begins to tell you stories of his youth, none of which have anything to do with the bandana that's bleeding around his neck. But at the same time, he's sort of alluding to it, and it's like he's building up to it, but then he kind of pulls back and then he builds up to it, as if he can't quite get to the story for some reason of why he actually has it, but he is working his way up to it, kind of thing. And the four of you follow him off, not even close to where the road is or anything. He's just bushwhacking across the landscape. Handy is sort of like on his shoulder, kind of switching shoulders. At times it gets up on his head when he stops to look, and it kind of climbs up, and the two of them are sort of like looking around. He's like, this way over here. And they go off in that direction, and you continue to follow them into the shadowy landscape on your way to a place referred to as the Sorrow Stone, perhaps where your futures lie. But we're gonna have to wait to find out about all of that future in your fate until next week, because this is where we're gonna stop for tonight. Thank you everyone for hanging out with us tonight. We really appreciate you guys jumped in real hard with a hype train and a lot of support for our players with your giving them some advantages. We really, really appreciate that, you guys. Thank you so much. We're going to quickly go around the table here and do some outros. Let's start with Chad, excuse me, the Vamp Wickman.
Thank you. Chad here, Vamp Wickman. Here on Tuesdays playing Heroes of Greyhawk. Thank you, Dave, for running.
You're welcome.
It was a blast. Also on Sundays at 4 p.m. Eastern Time on the GaryCon Live channel, running in a old adventure. I think it's I-9, written by Alan Hammock. He was actually on the stream for an interview last Sunday, and we're going to continue that, probably die. Garner decided I wasn't the main point of his murder this week. I felt a little sad about that, but you know, whatever. I mean, he's got to take turns killing people. I get it.
It's only fair.
Yeah, spread it around.
Find me at Vamp Wickman on most channels if I'm there and having a blast. Yeah. And thanks for the chat. Thanks, Josh, for all those inspirations. You crazy bastard.
Thank you very much, guys. Thanks, Chad. Great to have you back. It was a long week without your beautiful face. I'm glad that we're back at it. Looking forward to next week. Let's jump over to Shelly. Speaking of beautiful faces.
Hey, yo, it's Shelly, also known as Flea Monkey, also known as Hey, It's Flea Monkey on Threads and Instagram, mostly Instagram. You can find me here every Tuesday, and I think tomorrow's an off day, but every other Wednesday right now over on Tithalanos' channel doing Pathfinder 2e, where I heal people. I heal them. So come check it out. It's pretty cool.
Nice. Thank you, Shelley. Let's jump over to another wildly attractive member of the cast, Andy G3D.
Hey, what's up, everybody? My name is Andy, also known as Andy G3D here on Twitch and other places around this old internet. Yeah, you can find me here every Tuesday night playing Dez, having a good time, dodging Dave's curses.
You've been doing pretty good so far in the
Yeah.
Shadowlands, I would
I
say.
know. Yeah.
Maybe
Been a
Desmond's
while.
learned a few things.
Well,
He's,
Auron
he's
picked
a
up
little
that
less
mirror,
curious
so
than he was before.
Alrin did pick up the mirror,
Touched it.
and Nori
Bare
dealt with the
hands.
ramifications. Awesome.
Me.
And last but certainly not least, and certainly one of the attractive folks that I get to hang out with. God, it builds up my self-esteem to hang out with you guys. Ashley.
Hey everybody, I'm Ashley, also known as Minnesota Muse. You can find me as Minnesota Muse on our Discord, on Blue Sky, or as Minnesota Muse 99 on Threads. You can only find me here, so if you want to see me play again, you have to come back next Tuesday for more Heroes of Greyhawk.
Hell yeah, we've got exclusive rights to Ashley's Tuesday nights. Damn it.
That's right.
Thank you all for being here. My name is Dungeon Dave. You guys know me. I'm so happy to be part of this crew. A great game, you guys. Awesome role play. Love how you teased out a lot of really interesting stuff about the game in the first half of this session. It was really fun to watch. We're going to go ahead and raid into our buddies over at Blue Cottage D&D. It looks like they're getting into some serious stuff too. So let's give them a little bit of excitement and some love. We're going to start that raid right now. Thank you all for hanging out with us. Really, really do appreciate it. All of the support and everything. If you like what we're doing, please consider following us. And if you're a follower, please consider subscribing. Your support helps us to support other awesome creators and helps us to make our stream better. So we appreciate you for getting us to where we are today. We will see you guys next time. Bye-bye.